Welcome to the Uncle Jim Effect podcast. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to spend some time with me. I'm Dennis DeLoach. I'll be your host. We're on episode number 49. Wow. That's amazing when I think about that. Almost at 50. This blows me away. Thank you so much. Please continue to subscribe below. Like the podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. And please continue to share with your family and friends. We have been growing like crazy. We're getting lots of attention now, and it's just been unbelievable. And it's 100% because of you. I'm just the messenger, but this is resonating with people. Finding our God-given potential allows us to live the life that we are worthy of living. And by doing so, we will have more joy than we can imagine, more success, more abundance. And with that abundance, we're going to do tremendous things for others and including ourselves and our families. And by doing that, we just create a tsunami of hope. And we're going to change this doggone world one person at a time with your help. So let's get after it. Today is episode 49. And we're going to talk about an interesting word. And that word is duty. Duty. What is duty? So let's start with a quote. And this is Mohandas Gandhi. And he says, every right carries with it a corresponding duty. So let's talk about that. Every right carries with it a corresponding duty. So every right that we have, there is a duty associated with that. And duty, how we're going to define that, is a commitment or an expectation to perform some action in general, or if a certain circumstance arises. So it's a commitment or an expectation for us to perform in a certain manner when things happen. So my duty as a father is I have an expectation to perform for my family on a daily basis when certain things happen. My duty as a teammate in a sport, I have a commitment, an expectation to perform in a specific manner when certain things arise. It's also defined as a deeply rooted commitment to do our part, whatever that may be. So a lot of times we think of duty for the heroes in our militaries, or their duty is to go out and be heroic and perform acts, and we think of that, but we have duties as friends. We have duties as parents, siblings, as teammates. We have duties as people that work together. We have duties as Americans. We have duties as community members. We have duties to each other as human beings. And so we want to really dive into that. If we have a duty to every situation we're in and every person around us, why we better know a little bit more about duty. So let's talk about certain aspects of duty. We're going to talk about specific duty to ourselves first, because if we don't do it to ourselves, we're not going to be able to do it to anyone. Then we're going to talk about duty to God, and then duty to family. Okay. And then we're going to finish it with duty to country. And then we're going to talk about actions that we take. So specifically, let's talk about duty to self. And this is probably the hardest one. It says here, it is easier to do one's duty to others than it is to oneself. If you do your duty to others, you are considered reliable. If you do your duty to yourself, you are considered selfish. And we need to realize that that is not always true. If your only focus and always your focus is on how do I better myself in spite of you, then you're being selfish. But we have to take care of ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. If we're not taking care of ourselves first in those categories, we will not be of service to anyone. So if we're not taking care of ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, we cannot give a maximum effort to anybody. It's like trying to give other people money when you haven't made it for yourself. So the best way to give freely is to be abundant, to make a lot and give away even more. So when we recognize our own worth, when we nurture our own talents and passions, we then will improve ourselves personally. We will grow and we will be able to be our best self, which can then do more for others. But we have to take care of ourselves first. When we set goals, when we align our dreams, when we make choices that align with our values, and then take care of ourselves in those areas I mentioned, that's how we have a duty to ourselves. We have got to maximize our God given potential. We've got to have a duty to ourselves to be the best version of myself. I've got to be in great shape. I've got to be healthy. I've got to be on top of my game. Then I can help other people. So let's talk about our duty to God. And if you're not a faithful person, duty to your higher power. But all of us should have something that's bigger than ourselves that we have a duty towards. So this is basically the values that we hold to a higher spiritual being, and those things that we hold dear. And my beliefs, it's to my Father in heaven and His Son Jesus Christ. I have a duty to be a disciple to them, and that doesn't mean I'm doing well. That just means I am following them, or mainly trying to follow them. That is my duty. And part of that, a few podcasts ago, we had a podcast about daily repentance. And even though I fall short, that's not an excuse to quit. I just start over every day. When you played sports, if you didn't make a perfect play, did you quit the sport? Heavens no, nobody would get past their first minute in any sport. So no, we don't quit. We just learn, reassess, and start over. And that's what allows us to have a duty to God, is not that it's how I perform, it's that I don't give up. Every day I get out, I screwed up the same way as yesterday. I'm sorry. And please give me the strength today. Today's the day I can do it. And we move forward. But our duty to God is to live in accordance with those things that are important to us and we know important to Him, that allow us to experience the best version of ourselves that we can. And all that simply does is serve as a guiding force for us to know that I've got to stay on this path. This path will lead me, albeit not easy, it will lead me to the destination I want. As I fall off the path, I just start over. I get back on the path. Some people's paths are fantastic, straight and right up, as good as it goes. Mine isn't. I go up 3 feet and fall back 6. And that's okay as long as I get back on, keep trying. That's my duty to God, is to give Him an effort, to say, I'm going to try my best. I'm going to do the best I can to not continue to make the same mistakes. When I do, give me grace. And then I'm going to continue to give my best effort every day. How do I create and find my God given potential so that I can serve my fellow beings more abundantly? That's how I honor my duty to God. And then duty to family, very similar, but basically we have such a deep rooted connection of love and support for those closest to us. We do have a duty to a family, whether that's as a parent or a sibling. To me, families are the ultimate team. I love team sports because it's not the 1+1 is 2, it's 1+1 is 3. How can we come together and be greater than the sum of our parts? And that's when we have a duty to each other and to the success of the team, or in this case, the family. I don't know how to say it any different or better than that, that duty is a commitment to the betterment of our group or team, whatever that is. And I have a specific expectation to perform when that time arises, or in a specific capacity based on what I'm talking about, whether it's to myself, to God, to my family, to those I coach, to the business I run, to my neighbors, any and everything we talk about. That's my duty, is to perform in a specific way to maximize the betterment of that group, or me if it's talking about me individually. I want to also talk about in this time, this is May of 2024, our country is so divided, and I think we lose sight that we have a commitment and a duty to our country. And like it or not, our country was founded on Judeo-Christian principles and with God at the center. And even if you don't believe in God, the basically the 10 commandments are in essence laws that govern any society on how we can all try to do our best to not kill each other, steal from each other, or do bad things. So as we talk about duty to country, we need to realize that although we aren't perfect, we're the best thing going out there. And even though we disagree, and we're talking politics, or even if we disagree on politics, I bet 80% of us, all Americans, agree on the same things, at least 80% of it, which is we want to raise families. We want to have the opportunity to maximize my potential. I want to live in a safe area. I want to be able to get paid. I want to be able to not uh, be injured or not be in a safe area. I don't want to be taxed to death. I want to be able to help my family and friends or those that need it. I want the freedom to own the property. I mean, all of these things I think we all agree on. It's only that 5, 10, 20% that we don't, but then we have a duty to respect each other, but listen to our differences. And mainly we need to listen with the understanding and the intent to understand what they're saying, right? They just want to be understood. Whenever we speak, we just want to be understood. So I don't have to agree with them, but I can say, you know what? I understand what you're saying, and I see how important that is to you. And we view things differently, but I defend the right you have. That's my duty for you to have that opinion, unless it infringes or makes things dangerous for me. That is duty to country. Small glitch, but we're back. So anyway, as we talk about duty to country, that's kind of what I want to say right now. So this is kind of a short podcast, but duty is a simple thing. It's we are expected to act in a specific way when the time is there for the betterment of what we are talking about. Figure out today what it is you can do to improve the duty you have to yourself to live the best life you have. And don't settle for second best when it comes to that. All of these other duties to family, to God, to country will fall into place. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with me. Your duty is to share this with family and friends. Your duty is to go back and review these podcasts to make you a better person. Your duty to help us do this is to subscribe and to share this with family and friends. Your duty is to every day give your best effort to 10x your life and to do all the things that we've talked about to make life so much better. You can do it. I know you can. God bless you. And until next time, keep getting after it.